Greetings, Roland, and welcome to another Rosario Rants, where I speak aloud my thoughts on Warhammer and wargaming in general. So this is a game that's been making the rounds for a couple of years now, and I think I'm finally ready to talk about it. This game is called Crusade. So what is Crusade? Well, it's a small unit skirmish game with RPG elements that is set during an alternate take of World War I. In this reality, a gate to hell was opened up in the year 1099 and unleashed hell itself into our world. Realizing that everything that Catholic/Orthodox Christian theology has told us was true, humanity has begun to use everything it understood about Yod Hey Vav Hey and Jesus Christ and launched a holy war against the demons and those who have succumbed to sin. This is a setting that is billed as grimdark, where the blood of saints is used as ammunition and war machines powered by martyrdom stave off oblivion. Sounds like it'd be right up my alley, right? Well, let's go through the various aspects of the game, and I'll give you my honest thoughts. Starting with the art. I'd say it's the art that draws so many people into Crusade. We can lay it all at the feet of Mike Francina, a well-known concept artist of the Diablo video game franchise by Blizzard Entertainment. Inspired to create some very dark and evocative imagery that combined World War I and World War II with overtly Christian iconography, medieval aesthetics, and creature designs based around demons and body horror, Francina laid the groundwork for what would later become Crusade. Definitely some amazing work. These pieces really draw me in and make me want to know more about what is going on in this setting. Next up is gameplay. And Varlets, we have another visionary on our hands with Thomas Pittinen. If you don't know who he is one of the designers behind the beloved wargame Mordheim. This game still has a strong cult following, despite having been discontinued by Games Workshop around 2010. Mordheim is a game I've actually been dying to play. I have lists for at least 3 war bands all planned out. Just need the minis. So when I heard that one of the creators behind this game was spearheading the creation of a Crusade war game, I was immediately excited. My hope was that Pittinen would bring the fun elements of Mordheim to Crusade, along with plenty of lessons learned to improve on the formula. Plus, I'm happy that there's a new player in town to give Games Workshop a run for its money. Competition breeds innovation. So yeah, the gameplay for Crusade is something I'm definitely excited for. But what tabletop game will be complete without miniatures? And Crusade is no exception. So let's talk about them. When Factory Forges, as Thomas Pittinen and company are not calling themselves, started their Kickstarter in 2022, they lined up some well-known artists to take Francina's art and make it 3-dimensional. We're talking about artists like Westphalia Miniatures, Say Decent, and J.K. Remo, all of which I've been following for quite a while. And you should too. They do some amazing work. Link in the description for their Instagram pages. Anyway, these artists ended up creating the starter units for the first 6 factions in the game, and you can really see how the vision was made into reality with these sculpts. I say the standouts for the units currently playable for Crusade are the Sniper Priest for New Antioch, the Cloister for the Heretic Legions, and later on the Hauptmann for the Free State of Prussia. Shout out to Savage Work Guy, by the way, for her beautiful paint job on that last one. I say that my only gripe with the minis as a whole is that I prefer if the proportions were a little bit more exaggerated. These seem to lean more towards true scale than heroic scale, which could lead to the minis being very fragile. But then again, the idea originally was that Crusade was going to be miniature agnostic, which means that you could use whatever miniatures you wanted when playing the game. This would also include proxy miniatures by other creators. However, that seems to have changed as of the last year or so. Now, if you want to play an official Crusade tournament, you must use their official miniatures, just like Games Workshop. This is definitely its own rabbit hole and not something I'll be doing a deep dive on. Suffice it to say that it's a decision steeped in controversy. Which now leads us to the warbands these models are comprised of. You currently have 6 to choose from. We have the Principality of New Antioch, which are the most technologically advanced faction, hosting units with things like power armor. The Trance Pilgrims, which is composed of a ragtag group of fanatics who have decided to take up arms against the forces of hell. The Sultanate of the Iron Wall, which is composed of the Ottoman Empire and their alchemical war machines. the heretic legions, which combines witches, monsters, and soldiers with a distinct 1940s Germanic flair, if you know what I mean. The cult of the Black Rail, which, if you've ever heard of Nurgle, then you'll get what vibe they're going for. And the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent, which is primarily composed of demons and demonic knights. Out of all of these, I'm not really able to decide which one I like to play as, and I don't mean that as a compliment. Honestly, Varlets, I've been kinda stuck. No warband truly sticks out to me. Sure, some have some pretty cool models like the Sniper Priest and Cloister I mentioned previously, and the idea of a grimdark take on the Ottoman Empire by way of the Iron Wall Sultanate is definitely a novel one. But aside from those few elements, each of these warbands are things I've seen before and done better, like with Warhammer and Warhammer 40k. And for my final thoughts, I'll go over my thoughts on the world building. Crusade may have a visually striking setting, but Rule of Cool will only get you so far. What is actually holding this setting together? Well, like I said at the beginning, the gist of this setting is that God and Satan are established as real and affecting the world in an undeniable way. We have demons spewing from a portal to hell, clones of Jesus Christ granting superhuman abilities to those who eat up their flesh, and the literal voice of God being audible, if only for a select few. There are no atheists here. And yet, there are elements of this setting which are incongruous with that premise. For one, if the God and the devil from Christian mythology are taking an active role in the setting, then why is Islam still kicking around?
When the infidels opened the thrice-cursed gate to Jahannam, releasing the Gog and Magog upon those who believe, it seemed that all was lost, and Shaitan would emerge victorious over Dunya. But the creator of the universe came to the aid of the faithful, and, as had been written, the great iron wall of Du-al-Qarnan manifested itself in the lands ruled by the Sultan of Rum.
Christianity and Islam aren't exactly belief systems which are compatible with each other. So why would Islam be considered as a valid way to combat the demonic forces? According to Matthew 12:30, he that is not with Jesus is against Jesus. And then there's John 14:6 that says that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but through him. Having picked Christianity as their foundation, First Crusade is now forced to contend with the fact that there should only be two major factions in the setting. Obviously, we're going to talk about sub-factions. There can be plenty of sub-factions under those two categories, but it should be two, which are those who are for God by way of Jesus and those who are not. Should we expect to see more religions and their deities make an appearance in First Crusade in the future? I like Smite as much as the next guy, but this would hardly be in keeping with the village's rustic aesthetic. However, the biggest drawback to the setting has to be the map they released last year. Arch did a whole breakdown on it, and you can watch it in the link below. Definitely check it out. But the gist of it is that there is no way that Christianity would be on the back foot of the setting according to the map presented. Due to factors such as air superiority, key terrain, supply lines, concentration of forces, and force replenishment, Christianity has a clear-cut dominance over the demonic forces. Christians are not the underdogs in this war. It's actually the demons and their worshippers who are on the back foot. And as great as that sounds, I think it misses the point. You can't have a grimdark setting where the good guys are on the verge of complete and utter victory. It makes the grim darkness of French Crusade come across as only skin deep. It seems that Factory Fortress didn't know that what makes a setting truly grimdark isn't its visuals, but its stories and its world building. So yeah, despite a strong start with its visuals, atmosphere, and game mechanics, French Crusade just hasn't hit home for me. There's definitely potential for greatness here, but it's the unplanned world building and the lackluster feel of the warbands that have kept me at bay for now. But I think I may have found a homebrew way to fix some of these issues. And if you'd like to find out what that way is, you'll have to tune in to my next read. Yes, Varlets, this video is part 1 of 2. So make sure to subscribe to be notified once it comes out. I have been Interrogator Rosario US, I touch Satan Millennium Inquisitor Markham, of the Autoricus, and I'm signing off from the Grimdark feature. Bye-bye, Varlets, and remember to be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and faithful in prayer. Hey, if you like what you heard, then please feel free to say so in the comments, or hit me up on Instagram at Rosario US Art. And don't forget that I stream every week on Twitch, which is also at Rosario SR. Come join the fun.